Easy to go any place else. Hey, what's up? PT here with Lunch with PT. I'm glad you're coming along here. I'm just sitting here doing some cutout, doing a little crafts. I'm getting ready to put together a jacket that's going to have this music on. This is going to be on, underneath the lapel on both sides, and then one of these big ones is going to be here on that collar, and then these little ones are going to go down through. I'll show you. See right here. It's right there. So they're going to go down the sleeve. Just like, I just realized I'm making music. Big notes, small notes. Today's subject, I want to talk to you about, they say when they ask, can I write a song? That's a title of a book, but it's also a title of a subject very near and dear to my heart. But first, what are we having lunch? What does PT drink? He drinks sweet tea with stevia, no sugar. Aye, if you're Irish, put something else in it. Don't tell nobody. Golden Flake. No, I don't do cheap advertisement, but Golden Flake. I love Golden Flake. These are Louisiana hot sauce now. They ain't too hot now, man, but they're so good. Ooh, Lord, you take one of these now and a bottle of Louisiana hot sauce. Oh, some Texas Pete. Ooh, we pour it on there and get that hot sauce on there. And some Cajun chicken wrap with some goat cheese and a high fiber wrap. Very high fiber. Especially when you're like this kind of age and you need fiber. Let me talk to you real quickly about songwriting. I'm gonna have a couple of parts. This is part one of two more parts. So it's part one of three. So I want to tell you why I chose the title, If They Ask, Can I Write a Song? There was a book that was written almost with that title, and please forgive me. And I've been trying to remember and do some research, and I simply can't find it. But there was a book that was recommended to me by one of my favorite all-time songwriters, and one who spent time with me and talked with me and discussed with me the aspects of songwriting, gave me some pointers. And that was back in 1986, 87. Kenny Henson. And those of you who know who Kenny Henson is, he's part of the family called the Henson family. We had Ronnie, Kenny, Larry, and Yvonne. I think it was her name, Yvonne. And those who don't know who the Hensons are, the Hensons were, they were the group. And I remember watching Jubilee on Sunday morning right before church. Jubilee, 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 Jubilee. You're invited to this happy Jubilee, happy Jubilee. You'd have forget his name. He was the part of the Florida Boys, and he was the MC of Jubilee. You had the Hensons always came on there with Ronnie and his big old Coke bottle glasses that you could put on the bottom of a plane and use as a spy satellite, Then you had the Happy Goodman family with Vestal and that big beehive, Howard on the piano, and Rusty and Sam. You had, who else? The Inspirations. This is when they were starting and they were in their heyday, and they were the quintessential. But the Hensons for me were kind of they were a different breed of group that came along, because they were a little bit more progressive. Kenny's writing was very progressive at that time. Some compared him to too much country, and then some said he was a little bit more of the edge of rock. It was gospel music, and it's funny how through the years that you have gospel music that comes along, and people express music and they express singing through gospel music. And if it's not in a certain style of music, then it's not close to God and it's not sanctioned by the Lord. And Michael the Archangel is just ready to draw his sword and come down there and cut you asunder. I like that word, asunder. We need to use that some more. You're at Publix, you're getting some sandwich meat. He said, how would you like that cut? I would like it cut asunder. What was I saying? Oh my gosh, she just had a squirrel. What were you saying? Music. If they, and you sing Amazing Grace, oh, from some of the old school that would use that kind of you can't use any other kind of music in song because it's wrong. Amazing Grace, the tune of that was from an old British pub song. Music is music. And let me say this real quickly. I don't want to run out of time here. But music was not created by Satan. Music was created by God. The gifts and everything that we have that is created that's worth anything, that's of good in its nature, everything with the exception of evil. God did not create evil. And if you want to debate me, debate me. But everything God created. Lucifer was not a creator. What he was is one who took what was created and he used it, was able. The Bible talked about Lucifer was created with pipers to tap. He was created with the instruments inside. Amazing songwriter, a worshiper. He led he was overseer of the cherubs that covered the throne. He was there. I mean, this creation, this angel he was very powerful. But everything belongs to God. We just take it back. And so Kenny, his writing was wonderful. And I remember when he sat down with me, we were about 35, 40 minutes at the back of Boutwell Auditorium. They were on their last tour, their last run. As a Henson, they were going to be retiring. And he spent time with me talking to me about songwriting, about aspects of songwriting. You know, layering, how to rhyme 2 lines, go 2 lines and then third, 2 lines and a third. We'll talk about it in part 2. But he talked about, if they ask, can I write a song? He's talking about technique. And remember, I told you a couple of days ago that in music, you look for the hook. You look for the hook in the beginning of it, the title. You look for the hook, maybe in the first body of the song. But within that song, you have a thesis, but you want to have kind of a hook in there. You want something that's going to grab the attention of them. But the one thing that you can't do, you can't be ashamed of your writing. Now, not everybody's going to accept your writing. Not everybody's going to go, you know what, this man is incredible. There's one guy told me one time, he said, man, I don't want to seem like I'm just being rude or anything, but I don't know why, I just don't like you. I went, okay, you don't have to. You don't have to put me on your Christmas mailing list. You don't have to do anything like that. You have to love me in the Lord, but you don't have to like me. That's okay. My Aunt Jeanette, who passed away, she was one that really took the shoe and kicked me in the rear end and said, boy, get out there and start writing and showing your music. You've got some great lyrics. You've got some great tones. And she was one who encouraged me to go up to Nashville and set some appointments up with some major labels. I went up there and met with about 2 or 3 labels. The first one I met with is actually the one that I signed with eventually, because all the other ones said, you don't have anything. First one said I did. And they saw something, and I wrote and I wrote and I wrote for them. And then I had, within no time, one of my first songs recorded by the biggest group in the nation, the Crab Family. I was very excited because Gerald writes everything. So when we pick up on part 2 of They Ask, Can I Write a Song, I want to talk about the dynamics of layering rhythms and rhymes, how to put those rhythms and rhymes together, how to find that hook and give you the best that I can. Been writing a long time, got a lot of music. I come from a family of writers. My grandmother wrote, my grandfather wrote, my mother wrote. So it's there in our Donna. And I want to share that with you. So stay tuned for part 2. And until next time, did I tell you what I was eating? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm eating. Till next time, PT out.